And good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. Today is Monday, November 27th. I am your host, Josh Engel. We are live streaming today's program on our WLBB Facebook page. So if you have any questions or comments for our illustrious guest today, feel free to type those in the chat and we will read those out to him. Our guest today, I think, needs no introduction to many listeners today. If you have not bought advertising from him, you may have seen him in a show produced by the Carroll County Community Theater, or perhaps you just know him because he's a nice guy. The one and only Duane Steven Sohl, good friend of mine. Good morning, Duane.
Good morning.
We're proud to have Duane in the studio with us today. We are talking about his book, Blueberrians at the Gate. This is a program which has been about 12 to 13 years in the making, this is something Duane's been working on for quite a long time. But here we are talking about the book and the book signing and book launch tonight at the Carrollton Arts Center at 6 p.m. We'll get into all of that here in a second so folks can know what they can expect at the event. But why don't we throw it over to Duane? Duane, let's just jump right into it.
All right.
Tell us a bit about yourself.
Well, I think you introduced me rather well. I came down to Georgia when I was 50. I'm much older now, a little wiser, but born and raised in New Jersey. Had quite a life up there, as you know. I sell advertising for Steve Graddick.
Right on. For many years now.
For many years, 17 years.
Yep, sales manager and my boss.
Yeah, well, your mentor more than boss.
There we go.
I'd say.
I would agree with that. So, why the title, Blueberrians at the Gate?
Well, when I started writing this 12 years ago, like you said, and caveat, I didn't work on it for 12 solid years. There were years when I just put it away and, left it on the shelf. So I'd say all in all, it took about a year to write it, a year of solid writing and editing and blah, blah, blah. But anyway, the name came early because it's set in New Jersey. And New Jersey, I wanted to highlight the Garden State. People see that on the license plate and they think, ooh, the Garden State, it's all oil refineries. Well,
yeah. What is that? The Zach Braff movie. That's where they go to.
Once you get out of Patterson and that area up north, where the Newark Airport is, and you get away from the refineries, it's quite a beautiful state. And one of their main crops is blueberries. In fact, the cultivated blueberry was I won't say invented, but I guess first cultivated in New Jersey. And so originally this book was supposed to be, it was supposed to be about this little group of people that lived in the Pine Barrens called Blueberrians. And while I was writing it, that was the name I came up with for these folks. They stand about 18 inches tall. And they live in the woods where no one can find them, blah, blah, blah. And the early readers were saying, Blueberrians, what are they? They blue? Are they like Smurfs?
Yeah.
And I thought, no, I don't want to go. I don't want to go in that direction. Not at all. I want these to be realistic little people. If that's not a contrary,
realistic,
terms.
Magical people.
Yeah, exactly. So I borrowed a little bit from Tolkien and called them quarterlings. But I like the name Blueberrians at the Gate because it's a reference back to, barbarians at the gate. And there's a chapter in the book where they are actually at the gate of the kid in the story, the main kid, the protagonist. And when the barbarians are at the gate, it's about to break loose.
Yeah.
And so I just stuck with the name, and I couldn't get rid of it. I couldn't find a better name for it.
And so, I think that establishes pretty well. This is very much an adventure story. This is a young adult fantasy story. What inspired you to go in that direction of young adult fantasy?
For the longest time, I wanted to write a book about the Jersey Devil. He's big in Jersey folklore, In fact, the hockey team is named after him, And a friend of mine from up there, you know him as well, Matty Dice. He used to tell me stories about his experiences in New Jersey, and one of them was this guy, the Limburg of Mexico. Carranza was his name, and he told me about this little memorial to Carranza in the Pine Barrens where his plane crashed. And so originally I thought it'd be fun to take some of New Jersey history, like the Hindenburg disaster and the Carranza thing, and some of the other big events in Jersey history, mythology, and apply them, rewire them to be about the Jersey Devil doing all this stuff. But it just wasn't there. The book wasn't there. So I came up with this other direction. They do, in fact, influence all these historical events. These quarterlings do. But it's just, it just evolved that way.
Yeah, I've read the book, and I love the book, genuinely. I'm not just saying that because you're my boss. But a little bit because you're my boss. No, I really do genuinely love the book. And I think that ended up being one of my favorite parts about the book, was that it very much, it was, for someone who's not from New Jersey, it was registered very much as a love letter to New Jersey, and incorporating all these historical events, many of which I was not aware of, that they took place right there in New Jersey.
Right.
And of course, I'm a big fan of cryptids, like, all these different mythological beings, the Jersey Devil, the Loch Ness Monster, and whatnot. So it's pretty cool. Not every state has a cryptid, a cryptozoological creature that you can incorporate into your work. But it is really neat to see these historical, true New Jersey historical moments woven into the story.
Yeah, and that was the idea, that, history exists and these historic events happened, but how did they happen? So this is kind of a rewriting of how they all took place, and the quarterlings accidentally were involved with most of them.
Absolutely. Now, and just for listeners who may not be aware, what are the Pine Barrens? Because that will come up a lot throughout the story.
Sure. The Pine Barrens is a vast woodland made up of scrubby pine trees. And I would say it starts around Burlington County, and you can Google them on the map if you don't know where Burlington County is, but all the way down toward the shore, and then down toward Atlantic City. It's vast. It's a place where you could get lost, and in fact, as you know from watching stories like The Sopranos, there are a lot of places to hide things.
Yeah.
And so
it's a good way to put it.
Yeah. And so the quarterlings live there, hidden away.
Time is 8:38. We're going to go and take our first commercial break. But when we come back, we will continue our conversation with local author Duane Steven Sohl as we discuss the launch of his first book, Blueberrians at the Gate, a young adult fantasy fiction, as well as discuss the book signing tonight at the Carrollton Art Center at 6 p.m. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.
The customized academic scholar journey at Oak Mountain Academy is individually designed to provide students with a personalized, clearly defined academic track that earns the student a series of distinctions upon graduation. This journey enables academically driven students to pursue a focused, rigorous course of study personalized to their wants and desires. I'm Patrick Uran, head of school, inviting you to journey with us on the mountain. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us. Discover your journey at OMA. Prepare, explore, and achieve.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
And we're back to Community Voice, Monday, November 27th. We are currently live streaming on our WLBB Facebook page. So if you have any questions or comments for our guest this morning, local author Duane Steven Sohl, as we chat about his first book, Blueberrians at the Gate, feel free to throw those in the comments, and I'd be happy to read those out to our guest. And a quick reminder, the book signing and book launch for Blueberrians at the Gate, tremendous young adult fantasy fiction, will be tonight at the Carrollton Arts Center at 6 p.m. Duane, so where do the characters in the story come from? Because it being a young adult fantasy fiction, you have a lot of colorful characters. Mm-hmm. Chat with us a bit about Brian, Ferris, Locke, and any of the other characters you'd like to talk about.
Yeah. Well, Brian is the main protagonist. He's a 12-and-a-half-year-old boy, and he grows up through the book to young adulthood. And a lot of that is just taken from my childhood. I mean, I didn't know any Blueberrians personally, but I did wander through woods as a kid and played on railroad tracks and did that kind of stuff when I was a little boy. So a lot of that is me. There's some of my buddy Dan Murray, my lifelong pal, Dan in Brian. He makes a couple of appearances. Personality-wise. And then the two main quarterlings are Locke Juiced and Ferris Bilberry. And Ferris loses a magic coin that Brian finds. And so the quest is for Ferris to retrieve that coin and, claim it again as the rightful owner. The coin has the powers to grant one wish, one hope, and one dream to its possessor. And this is where all those historic faux pas or mix-ups happen, because sometimes the town folk, the you and me people, find these coins. They don't know what they are, and they accidentally cause disasters. And it happens that way with Brian as well.
So Brian, is just trying to live a normal teenage life in New Jersey, mm-hmm. and hijinks ensue when he finds this coin
exactly.
and accidentally steps into this realm of magic and very old magic.
Yeah.
The quarterlings, the beings, the 18-inch tall beings from the story, they, within the book, this is another part I loved about the book, was that they had a rich history. Mm-hmm. Could you speak a bit to the quarterlings and how they found their way within the story within
Sure.
New Jersey?
Yeah, in the prologue of the book, I do a little of their history. They basically came over with the early settlers from Europe, and they lived for a while with them, but the settlers grew suspicious of them because of their magic and that kind of thing. And two of them, in the prologue, it says, were even convicted of witchcraft and tossed into lobster pots and sent to the bottom of Massachusetts Bay. So the quarterlings, or the Blueberrians, it's kind of interchangeable. They ended up kind of separating from the regular settlers, and they made friends with the Indians. And the Indians kind of taught them how to live out on the land, the Native Americans, the Passamaquoddies and I forget all the tribes, but it's all in the prologue. So there is a history of how they got here and how they got from New England down to New Jersey as well.
So why New Jersey in the 90s?
Well, for me, New Jersey in the 90s was kind of a personal awakening. I was coming out of some serious past into a glorious future. And I won't go into details in that. You can, when I write my memoirs, it'll all be in there.
Yeah.
But it was a time of restoration for me personally, and it was a pretty cool time to be alive in New Jersey. Things were going well. Things got really a lot better for me.
A lot of folk festivals.
Oh, yeah, a lot of stuff like that happening. And so the 90s was a pretty cool time, and I thought I'd set it not in a too distant past, but not in present day, because It was right when like cell phone technology was beginning to take off. So there wasn't instant communication. There wasn't instant this, instant that. You still had to kind of do things for yourself.
So you mentioned earlier weaving your good friend Dan Murray into the book. Did you have an opportunity to weave any? Could you speak a bit to some of the fun little inside jokes you may have woven into it, or any references to any musicians you like, any movies you like, anything like that?
There are some references, of course. I would always make reference in whatever I do, whatever I say. Almost every conversation, I make a reference to The Little Prince. And so, that's referenced in there, but very subtly. Spike Jones and his City Slickers plays a tiny little role. One of the songs that Brian is musing over, the Blue Danube. If anyone wants to find that on Spotify, I know it drives Josh crazy.
Yeah. Oh yeah, drives me bananas.
But I grew up with that kind of stuff. A friend of mine, Robert Mart, had a whole '78 collection, and we used to listen to those. So yeah, there's that kind of thing woven in the book. Also, some hidden numbers that are important to me, and some names of people that can kind of settle scores with.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the way to settle the score.
Yeah.
The checks come.
But the names are changed, and there are some names of characters from my past, from high school days and so forth, in there as well.
So The Little Prince, you mentioned that earlier. It's one of your favorite books.
Yes. Not one of.
Your favorite book.
Yes.
So one of the things I adore about The Little Prince, after you insisted that I read it for several months, because I'm very slow to act sometimes, is that whether you are 8 years old or whether you're 80 years old, there is something to take from The Little Prince. I mean, I was in shambles reading it. I was crying. And I was like, let's read this little book here. And then I was just absolutely overwhelmed with emotion because of the way it was written. And I thought that was interesting, the book being written, it was a children's book, but even now, I mean, as an adult, you can still learn something from it and still be moved by it. Having read the book now, I mean, it's very much the same thing. Why is it important to you to create a book that children can connect with, but even adults such as yourself can connect with as well?
Well, and that's the thing. It's the one thing is the book has no agenda. There's no right leaning. There's no left leaning. There's no nothing. It's just really pure enjoyment reading. And I did write it for young adults, but it reads well for adults as well. All the adults that I had read it as beta readers, they all seemed to enjoy it. They offered some great insights. The Writers Guild, I spent a year reading a chapter every other week at the Writers Guild, and they offered so much input to turn this thing into what I think is a really good book. And so, all the help I got from adults and all the enjoyment that they had either listening to it or reading it themselves, it took on a, I guess, different direction. You could certainly enjoy it as a youngster, as a middle schooler. You can enjoy it as an adult.
Time is 8:49. We'll go ahead and take our second commercial break. But when we come back, we'll continue our conversation with a local author and Graddick Communications Sales Manager, Duane Steven Sohl, as we chat, continue our conversation about his new book, Blueberrians at the Gate, his very first book, as well as the book signing and launch tonight at the Carrollton Arts Center at 6 p.m. You're not going to want to miss it. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.
The World Language Scholar Journey at Oak Mountain Academy is designed to provide students with a clearly defined, curriculum-based track to acquire essential knowledge and skills for success in biliteracy fields of study. The successful completion of this journey provides colleges with a method to recognize a rigorous foreign language immersion experience for all students at Oak Mountain Academy. I'm Patrick Duran, head of school, inviting you to journey with us on the mountain. For more information, visit us at oakmountain.us. Discover your journey at OMA. Prepare, explore, and achieve.
Health is a journey. It's making better choices, even when it's not easy. It's taking care of yourself and the people you love. At Tanner Health System, we're there for you with every step, with primary care, heart care, cancer care, women's care, orthopedics, surgical services, and so much more. We're dedicated to helping you live and feel your best. So let's get on that journey to health. You've got places to be for many years to come. Find us at tanner.org.
And we're back to Community Voice. Today's date is Monday, November 27th. I'm your host, Josh Engel. And our guest this morning is Duane Steven Sohl, a dear, dear friend and mentor to me, as well as author in his own right. He just put out his brand new book, Blueberrians at the Gate, something he's been working on for quite some time. I like that. He's got the book up right in front of the poster of the book, with some okay art on the cover. It's pretty good. Go ahead.
Don't diss the artist who did the cover.
Yeah.
Actually, it was a collaboration between a very good friend of mine and his wife, who is also a good friend of mine, and that is none other than your host, Josh Engel, and his lovely wife, Julie.
Yeah, she worked on the typography, and I worked on the art, and it means a lot that you asked me to do that. Thank you.
Oh, and I think it turned out great. And apparently, from what I understand, he fashioned the character with the mustache after me, and then he fashioned the other character behind him after Eddie Cantor. So,
for those of you who aren't aware of Eddie Cantor, I suggest you look up his discography immediately. It's incredible music. Definitely check out Eddie Cantor. Of course, we'd find a way to talk about Eddie Cantor. So before we get into the launch, I do got to ask the publication process. You know, the printing. How did you get this book published? Because it's in the Library of Congress, and that blows my mind.
It is crazy, isn't it?
How did that happen?
Well, I had several options. There were once I got it copyrighted, I saw all kinds of offers coming in to help me publish it, but it was, vanity presses and things like that. A lot of people do their own self-publishing. I found in conversation with a character from a play I was directing last year, John Bell, who is a local publisher, and his company's Vabella Publishing. And so I asked him about the process, and he said, well, send me the manuscript or a couple chapters. I'll read it and see if it's something I'd like to get involved with. And he read it, and he enjoyed it, and he said, I think I'd be happy to take that on. So it was a local publisher, but it is a legit published version of Blueberrians at the Gate. You can get it on Amazon or barnesandnoble.com.
Yeah, I ordered my copy off of Amazon just for the thrill. Of course, I mean, having done the art, I'm sure you would be willing to give me a copy,
yes.
But I had to do it. I just wanted to order a book with your writing and my art on it, and it's such a special moment for the package to come in the mail. So yeah, you can get it anywhere you get your books.
Yeah.
They are a very connected publishing house, and they do incredible work.
Yeah.
The quality is second to none.
And working with John, we had several galley copies, and we went through them line for line, erased every comma that didn't belong there, added every comma that should be there. So that was a long process. That took a couple of months from the get-go, from the time he said, let's do this. It was interesting. It was a great experience, though.
Yeah, what a great guy. I mean, I saw you working with him, and it was very straightforward, very easy, and the results speak for themselves. I mean, it's a very well printed book. So let's talk about the book launch. The book signing and launch is tonight. Tell folks what they can expect, and if folks can get a copy of the book here at the launch.
Absolutely. I have plenty of copies, probably more than I need, but they don't go bad. So I can certainly I can certainly sell up to 150 books this evening. And there'll be little surprises around every corner, but nothing dangerous. We have some fun things going on, and we have wine and cheese and cake and beverages, and we have bookmarks for, I'd say, the first 100 or so that come through, all designed by my lovely wife Amy, and she took complete charge of this book signing and did a fantastic job. I don't know where I'd be without her.
The book's dedicated to her.
Exactly, and for good reason.
So that is tonight at 6.
That's tonight at 6 o'clock at Center for the Arts. It makes a great Christmas gift. Again, it's good for young people and old.
Yeah, it's very much a family book. The entire family can come out to the book signing. I mean, there aren't any not really any bad words in the book or anything. It's not something you have to worry about. It's perfect for all ages. I have read it, and yeah, I always tell Duane this. Having a lot of friends that are artists and poets and writers, it's tough having to be nice to someone when their art is not that great. But this book is tremendous, and I think that anyone who picks it up and reads it is genuinely going to be moved by it and probably want to visit New Jersey. So the book launch is tonight at 6 p.m. How can someone get a copy if they aren't able to come out?
As mentioned earlier, if they can't come out this evening, I'm in town, so I'll be selling them out of the back of my car.
Like Saul Goodman.
Yeah, but just like Saul Goodman. But also you can get it on Amazon. Just look for me as the author, Duane Steven Sohl. I put my middle name in there because it didn't look good. I have 2 one-syllable names.
It's no good.
And that doesn't ring well.
No.
So I put my put my middle name in there, which I never use. But you can find it under Blueberrians at the Gate as well. So you can search for the title or the author on Amazon and on Barnes & Noble.
So what's next for Duane Steven Sohl? Aside from your memoirs, I Can't Believe I Ate the Whole Thing by Duane Sohl.
What's next? I think I'm going to head to Waffle House.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah. And then maybe try to get a little work done.
That sounds wonderful.
But the story ends in a way that it could continue. So I have in my mind the beginnings of the follow-up story to this.
Well, Duane, I cannot wait to see where the story goes from here. Get your copy of Blueberrians at the Gate, now available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, pretty much anywhere you can get books, but I definitely recommend that you come out tonight at the Carrollton Arts Center right downtown, just off the square, for the book signing. You can meet the author, Duane Sohl. You can buy your copy of the book. You can have it. You can get your book signed. As we mentioned, there are some excellent extras and swag that's going to be available, custom made for the event that tie in with the story. Cake, wine, cheese, and a lot of laughs. A lot of good conversation. Duane, I'm incredibly proud of you, my friend.
Oh,
incredibly
thank you.
proud
I appreciate it.
This book's tremendous. And I got to say, if you're listening, you're tuning in, get yourself a copy. Come out to the launch tonight, and I think we're going to have a great time. I look forward to seeing what you come up with next, Duane.
All right. Thank you.
To all of you tuning in at home, we'll see you next time.